Hey, yo. All right. I wanted to hop on real quick, document how I go about driving for dollars virtually. I go about it a little bit different than other people would because I don't use any paid software. I do it all for free. Well, technically for free. I'll get into that into the next step. So I do a two-step process, and I'm going to document the first step here, and then I'm going to do another video that kind of shows you the second step. So um, for the first step, all I have is, as you can see in my tabs, Google Maps and Zillow. I'll explain why I have Zillow pulled up, and then pen and paper, where I'll be writing down manually by hand the properties that I come across. So after you determine, what market you want to do this, and again, I don't know if I even mentioned it, I'm doing it this way because I'm in a virtual market. So attempting to wholesale halfway across the country. So I can't just get into my car and drive around because I'm nowhere near the market. So once you determine the area, and you can go, I'll make another video how I, come to the conclusion of what little pocket of the market I'm wanting to drive in. But once you find like a good pocket where there's, a good amount of distressed properties, then you can go ahead and start. So I just kind of I didn't do the research. I just kind of dragged my little guy and dropped it onto the Google Maps. And you'll do that. I'll pull up a separate Google Maps tab so I can just show you that real quickly. If you were, wanting to wholesale in North Carolina, you see your little guy right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and zoom into whatever market. Let's say I was wanting to wholesale right here. You can just pick up your little guy and drop them anywhere you see blue lines. That's where a Google car has driven down and actually captured photos. And then you just drop them into the market. And then you can click the little expand button right here. I can't click it because of the recording, but you can expand it and pull it across the screen like I have done here. And then you can drag this up and down to I like to just pull it all the way down so I can get a bigger view of the actual properties. And then you just start driving, picking out properties that have physical distress. I know a lot of people like to kind of set their own criteria as to what they consider an actually distressed property. I do keep it pretty strict because I'm trying to pinpoint the most distressed properties. As my marketing budget expands, I'll start to get a little less strict. So things to look for. Um, if this is your first time watching a driving for dollars video, if not, this is kind of, you know, typical stuff that you can find a lot of people talking about, but stuff to be looking for on the actual property as signs of distress. One, and kind of the biggest one, is the roof, right? This one's not too bad, but you'll find in certain houses, the roof, you'll see blue tarps over it to stop leaks. You'll see, along the edges, you'll start to see wear and tear. The blanking on the word I'm looking for, but anyways, along the edges, you'll start to see wear and tear. You'll start to see certain spots that are really faded and damaged due to the weather and stuff like that. Second, exterior damage. So the siding, you can start to see here a little bit. It's not too bad, but the paint's starting to peel, right? Let's click over to the other side, see what the side of the house looks like. You can see the siding damaged, boarded up windows or boarded up anything really. So this is clearly not part of the house. It was just added to probably, again, stop some type of weather from entering the property. Another thing is window units, window AC units. This is indicative of there not being central AC. And these things pretty much just speak to the one, the condition of the property, but two, the kind of financial situation that the homeowner is in, right? So this is pretty much showcasing that they may not be in the best financial situation to install central AC, but it also is market dependent. So I know in this market, my market, Houston, central AC is pretty much a must in all flips, right? No retail buyer is going to buy anything that doesn't have any central AC. So this is it's another one. Another one is landscaping, overgrown grass. It's starting to get here on this property, but it's not too bad. But in some cases, you'll start to see the grass really start to get pretty tall, and it's pretty much a good sign of the property being vacant. Another one, broken down cars in the driveways, garbage in the front. This isn't garbage, but just kind of showing you with my mouse where it would be, some garbage here, but this is a property that I would add, right? So it says here 75 Barres Street. So why I have Zillow here is to cross-reference, because not every time you're going to be looking at the property on Google Maps that this address is going to be correct. So what I'll do is type it into Zillow. See, and if it was an actual address that Zillow had, it would already pop up here, right? So what I'm going to do is kind of click over and get another address, 81. I just want to be placed in the area where I'm trying to drive, right? So this is 81. Let's see. So this is the property I'm looking at, right? So I can click out of here and then actually zoom in to where that property is. So this is the one that 81 is, and this is the first property that we were looking at on the corner there. So I'm going to click into that one and see the actual address. So it's 79. So perfect example. When I'm looking at it on Google Maps, it says 75, but it's actually 79. So then I would start here and just put down Barres Street, and then start just tallying up the numbers, right? So 79. Then I just start driving. You just start clicking, see the arrow, start driving down the street, and determining whether or not these are properties that you would want to add. This one, to be honest, I would not add. It has window units, but other than that, it has the burglar bars on the windows. But other than that, it's not in too bad of shape, right? And this is a perfect example of a property that I probably wouldn't add. But when my marketing budget expands, maybe one that I would later down the road. But I'm just kind of really wanting to be strict on the properties that I'm adding, so that when I go to skip trace them, I'm not, unnecessarily spending money. Another thing to look out for is the image capture date here at the bottom. So these pictures were taken on October 2019. A lot of pictures in my market are 2018, 2019, 2020. You can find some that actually have been taken 2021, but it's something to just pay attention to. Some of the areas, pictures haven't been taken since 2007, 2013. So to be honest, I just skip past those streets because I don't want to waste my time. In all likelihood, somebody has maybe already farmed this area for leads. And the pictures that I'm looking at on Google Maps isn't the best representation of what the market actually looks like now, or the houses actually look like now. And then, again, you just kind of start driving down, picking out. So this is another thing, trash like this, it's either in the process of being flipped or something along those lines. Right, because this is a lot of trash. It's not just like a simple trash out. It was a full trash out. So this probably isn't the best area. Like I said, I didn't do really good research. I just happened to find that one property. Here's another one that I would probably add. You can see flat roof, damaged roof, 94, and this is a perfect example too, where I wouldn't even look. So this is accurate. It says 94, but first off, I'm trying to find the house number on the actual property so that I don't even have to cross-reference Zillow. So for this one, I don't have to cross-reference Zillow. I would just write down 94 and then keep it moving. And if you come across the street, and you can zoom in and out on this as well. So I like to zoom all the way out and just drive like this so that I can just kind of see using my peripherals, so that I'm not having to constantly, turn the camera to the left, turn the camera to the right. And the last kind of thing that I want to mention in regards to this is how I'm tracking my route. So what I do is, once I pick my sub-market within my market, I just go ahead and I print out Google Maps image. I zoom in close enough so that you can actually see the the streets, and then as I drive, I just kind of trace along the streets to track my routes so that I know I'm not driving the same street twice and wasting my time. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, obviously I'm going to turn it every once in a while when the bushes or the trees are in the way. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And that's my first step of the process, right? Is just gathering a list of properties. And as you become a little bit more proficient in this, you realize, it'll catch your eye, things that you're looking for, in again in the peripheral, so that you're not having to turn and look. And you'll also kind of be able to tell whether or not you're driving down a street, because you heard me pretty much say, like, after I drove down that first block, this probably isn't the best market for me personally. Somebody else, again, who has the budget may look at like a property like this and think to themselves, like, you know what, this is bad enough for me to add to my list. But for me, I mean, this one's pretty bad, right? There's trash in the front, looks like a little bit of patchwork on the roof, maybe some water damage. Yeah, last thing that I'll mention is something you want to be careful of. When you're moving your mouse and you see that the arrow is there, once you get high up enough, the arrow will disappear. And you want to be careful, because if you accidentally click, it's going to take you directly through to the next block. So now you can see we're no longer on Brest. It took us through to, Victor Street here. So you want to be careful of that, because you're going to lose your spot on the street. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Build my list, and then I'm going to go ahead and stop this one and hop into the next video and let you know how I get my list of properties and actually build a list on my computer.